Welcome to the NerdLore podcast. We talk stories, theories, and lore. I'm one of your three hosts, Shiny Shoes.
And I'm Crashstarling.
And I'm TheRealSkandle.
And tonight we're going to delve into Norse mythology and our favorite gods or deities that we really like from that. Hades is the only one of those dudes that's actually a good guy. And I think Skandle's going to lead us off.
We are. Just to follow up on the best of the best, our favorite gods, your favorite podcast host is going to start this one off. So we are going...
You're starting.
Yeah, it's getting deep, boys.
Okay.
Just got shady in here.
All right. So I did one of my favorites, I thought, was going to be Tyr from the Norse gods. I did some research. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Tyr, but while researching Tyr, I found a cooler thing that really grabbed my attention. So let's start with Tyr, and then we'll move on to Fenrir. Okay? Yeah, here we go. Let's do it. So Tyr is one of the older gods. He's the god of war, and he's the one-armed god, and the reason for that is, we'll get into that, he has a nice encounter with Fenrir. Fenrir's lore is just so much better. But anyway, so in my opinion, okay, Tyr's probably awesome. So he's the only thing I really know about Tyr that I got a lot of information on was that he is the god of war. Again, I really lost interest in him when I started reading about Fenrir, so let's just go into Fenrir because that one's way better. So Fenrir is the wolf. He's the child of Loki and the giantess. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this one. Well, I'm going to try it. Angerboda, I think is what her name is. So just what it looks like. Yeah. Okay. So he's the son. He's a big wolf, but he started off really small. And the gods raised him, but he started to grow, and he started to grow way bigger than he was supposed to, right? And they were really worried by how big he was getting that he was going to wreak havoc throughout the 9 worlds. He grew unbelievably fast, and then they realized that they couldn't control him anymore, so they wanted to chain him up. But they had to trick him because whenever it didn't work. So the first time they tried it, they tried to chain him up. He broke free, and he was really pissed off. And they were like, no, this is a game. We want to see how strong you are. We want to see if you can break these chains. And he was a little skeptical. And then they do it a second time, and again he breaks free. And again they say, we're just keep enjoy this game. Well, now he's getting kind of really skeptical as what's happening. So they said, we only want to try one more time. And so he said, okay, I agree to it. So they made they went and got the dwarves to fashion this chain that was lightweight but really sturdy and strong. And so Fenrir was handed the chains that they were going to do it, and he looked and he knew there was something up. He knew something was really suspicious about this. So he said, I will do this if somebody puts their arm in my mouth as collateral, right? If something goes wrong, someone's gonna lose their arm. Well, Tyr decided he would do it. So he puts his arm in his mouth, and so he tries to break free of these chains and he can't break free. So he's pissed off now, so he just bites through and bites off the arm of Tyr, which is why he's the one-armed god now. But those chains are held into a rock, and they drove a sword into his mouth, through the bottom of his mouth, to keep his mouth open. And from the foam from his saliva, from having his mouth open the entire time, came the river called Expectation. But that's not the end of it. At the end, during Ragnarok, he's going to break free, and his lower jaw will be at the earth, or at the ground level, and his upper jaw will be through the sky, and he'll just devour everything. He'll even kill Odin, but then he's supposed to die by one of Odin's sons. It doesn't necessarily say which son, but one of them is supposed to kill him during Ragnarok. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Fenrir with a little bit of Tyr.
You could probably guess which one of Odin's sons is assumed to be the killer of Fenrir. It's a pretty popular one, if you don't know.
That's presumptuous, and you know it.
Yeah, right?
So,
little known fact, Fenrir is immune to lightning, so not that Odin's son.
I'm immune to thunder.
I'm just playing.
So, I also kind of got into the Norse mythology, and my goddess that I chose was Freya. And
of course.
There's reasons for that. We may not know.
Of course? I'm trying to learn.
He always does the fertility gods and goddesses. He's a horny boy. He's a horny boy.
So, one thing that I
want to see his shiny shoes or what? The Velcro straps?
Listen.
Ooh.
One thing that I love about Norse mythology is, one, like, everybody has, you know, their culture that they thought was badass, you know? Like, some people think samurais were awesome. You know, I thought Vikings were awesome. I'm like, man, these dudes are cool. Like, they drive boats and they beat up people.
Drive them. They drive them with a steering wheel.
Drive boats, right in the boat ocean. So, one thing that kind of always drawn me is their lore is, you know, all the gods live in this giant tree called Yggdrasil. And might not be able to tell, but that is what is on my wall back behind me, is a giant Yggdrasil tree. The god I chose, Freya, so she's the goddess of fertility, you know, love, said she was very beautiful. So she didn't live in Valhalla with the rest of the Vikings at the time. There was a war between realms, and in order to kind of get the peace going between these two realms, the realm where Freya was gave Freya and her brother Frey, it's hard.
Take your time.
I think I'm having a stroke voice. Frey, they gave him and her to the Asgardians to kind of smooth it over. At that point, she became a god, and, you know, she wears a feathered cloak that makes her fly, pretty much. She drives a chariot led by cats, which
big cats, house cats.
No, house cats.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's house cats. All the pictures, it just shows a bunch of house cats.
There was something about house cats in those Norse times, like that, those Viking times. I can't remember what it was. It was like I don't remember. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so she was all about it, you know. She became a war goddess as well, because she became so skilled in battle and everything through training with the Asgardians and everyone. Well, everybody coveted her, and everybody wanted a piece of that. Well, she ended up getting married, you know, and, you know, finds a lover, but her lover is the kind of the war general of Asgard, and he's always going off on missions, going off. And, you know, it's said that while he goes off, you know, she would cry, and her tears created, I think, another river, one of the rivers. I'm not 100% sure the name of it. But one time, he just doesn't come back. The dude's gone.
Could you say that she cried you a river?
You could, but then I'd have to kill you.
Yeah, you could, but you shouldn't. So, so he goes off. Well, you know, she's kind of frustrated with this, and she tries to go find him, so she vows to, like, spend the rest of her days trying to search for this guy. Eventually finds him, you know, and she's like, hey, what's up? Well, he had been cursed, and he got turned into a sea monster. But Freya, she's a very good, kind soul.
Where this is going.
You know, she was okay with it. She's like, that's fine. Well, what happens to sea monsters in mythology? Eventually, Freya's husband, the sea monster man, he was killed.
Oh, of course.
Yep. So, when he was killed, you know, she kind of went into a rage and kind of threw up, threw this whole fit about it, ends up eventually marrying Odin, but just wanted to be with her husband again. So Odin gifts her a realm, basically, and she presides over this realm. From what I can tell about this realm, it's kind of like Viking purgatory.
Okay.
So for the rest of her days, she would preside over that realm due to the fact that basically she had found her one true love and wasn't really going to love another. And Odin, Odin's basically like the Zeus of Norse mythology. He's trying to get it in with as many gods and humans as he can. So that is the story of Freya.
Can I just say it's weird? Maybe not weird is the word. It's different. Let's go with different.
Yeah.
To see something beautiful in charge of death.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like, I guess now that I think about it, death has been portrayed as this like beautiful creature, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or a skeleton in a robe, right?
Yeah.
But like to me, that's different for me. Like that visual is different than what I envision when I think of like the afterlife, the underworld, whatever you want to call it.
Like in a lot of mythology, like the death guy isn't necessarily always like the worst person, but who gets a really bad rap? Hades. And the movie Hercules. Yeah, the movie Hercules really puts him in a bad light. But if you think about the three main brothers, him, Poseidon, and Zeus,
yeah,
like Hades is the only one of those dudes that's actually a good guy.
Yeah. And all he wants to do is spend time with his wife. That's it. He's living his best life right now.
That'll be
and he just gets about. It's awful, man.
Yeah, we get into that when we talk about Roman mythology and stuff.
Screwed up so much mythology.
Yeah.
Well, and if you rewatch Hercules, you start, now that you're older, you start relating with how frustrated Hades was with like how stupid the people were on their journey.
Yeah, I feel that frustration. So,
all right. So, I was once again looking through the list, just looking through the names, right? And I find this one that it looks like Skaoi, and I'm like, Skaoi? That sounds funny. Let's read about Skaoi. So it's actually Skadi. There's a little umlaut looking thing there, so it's apparently a D.
Yeah.
Skadi. So Skadi. What I
just pick one and go with it, bro.
Yeah, you got this.
Well, then, like, there's sometimes they're pronounced Scotty, Skade, or Skathi, and I'm like, all right, just call me.
Just call him SK, baby.
All right, we'll call her SK. So SK is a goddess associated with bow hunting, skiing, winter, and mountains. She's also known as a giantess, and quite frankly, a motherfucking bad bitch, right?
Yeah.
Oh, she's a bad.
Yeah, she cool.
Like language, sir.
Oh my apologies. I didn't realize.
So no, I'm worse than you are.
Yes, you are. So her main story, is that her father was killed by the Asgardians, as they do, and she went to essentially take revenge against all of them in full battle mail, helmet, coat of mail, and what is described in her, I guess you would call it an epic, all the weapons of war.
All of them. She didn't have a favorite. Her favorite was all of them.
So this is just a bad bitch coming in with a bow hunting on some skis with a mace, a shield. She's got a sword. Claymore. She's got it. Like
Claymores.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, fully automatic ARs.
Do I need to teach him what a claymore is?
No, I didn't go that far advanced in weaponry to go to claymore when I was thinking of their battle weapons.
Three spears.
True. She be out there. So this is just a giant woman decked out, walking up to the Asgardians, and they're like, okay, we're good. Like, they did not want that smoke. They did not want that. They did not want it. They were like, instead of killing us, we'll compensate you. And she was like, go on. And like, you can pick your husband from any of the gods here, but it has to be based on their feet. So, yeah, I know you're both looking like, huh? But no, that was how it happened.
Hey,
so
we don't kink shame here.
Hey.
No, we do not. So they line up all of the male gods, and they have her walk down the line, only staring at them tootsies.
Okay.
So she's walking down. She checks out all of them, and there's a moment where she's just going, and she stops. And she looks down. She's like, "Dang, bro, you got some cute little tootsies right there." And she was trying to go after. I want to make sure I get this name right. She was trying to marry the god Balder.
Okay.
And she said specifically, since Balder is probably very pretty, she assumed that he would take very good care of his feet. So she's like, dang, there's some cute tootsies right there. That's gotta be Balder. And looks up, and it's actually the sea god Njord.
Classic.
Yep. Now, I don't know if you know.
Go ahead.
No, please. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't know if any of you have done pedicures. If not, highly recommend it. They are so great. And having your feet soaked in salt water all the time, yeah, they might get wrinkly, right? But as they dried out, as from not being in the water anymore, I would think that they would be exquisite. Just so purely taken care of.
Merman.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So
sorry.
No. I appreciate the input. Now I know a proper way of taking care of my foot hygiene, and I will take that. I will take that lesson of life. So, this was the first part. She marries a person she doesn't really want to be with, and he's known for being a god of the sea. I don't know if you know anything about seas, but there's not a lot of seas in the mountains where she normally makes her home. So they decide to spend, I think it was 9 nights in each place. So 9 nights on the sea, 9 nights in the mountains. And she decides she hates the sound of seagulls. And I feel you, SK. I feel you. She wants to hear them wolves, dude. So there were 2 other conditions to basically the gods surrender. And the second one was they wanted to do something that she wanted to do something that she thought would be impossible. And that was to make her laugh. This is a stoic, stone cold woman. So Loki decides to try and make this woman laugh. He ties one end of a rope to the beard of was it a billy goat? Reading. We'll say a billy goat. And the other end to the man's balls. He ties it to his balls. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, classic.
So, one end on the billy goat, the other end on his balls, and they're pulling away at each other, and they're both squealing, they're both screaming. And she's just standing there like, what is happening? Till eventually Loki's junk slips out, and he falls on her lap, and he's just like, ta-da! And she fucking laughs.
Classic Loki.
I don't know. I would love to just have had that moment of like a god, a celestial being of intense power is getting his balls rocked by a rope tied to a billy goat, and he's just screaming.
I'd also like to reiterate again that we don't kink shame here.
Yeah, it's whatever you need to do.
It's all you. God of cock and ball torture. So the third one was Odin then took the eyes of her father's corpse and decided to throw them up into the sky where they became stars. And that really pleased her. But yeah, just imagine the more I read, the more I'm like, what is happening? But also stoic, stone cold woman comes in and they're like, look, don't kill us. Don't kill us. We'll let you marry one of us, and we'll tie our balls in a knot, and we'll make you some new stars from your dad's eyes. And she's like, all right, I'm down. Let's go.
Deal.
Yeah. Man.
It's impressive, sir. It was some good storytelling.
So,
I appreciate that.
If you guys enjoyed the content, kind of liked what you saw, go ahead and like us on YouTube, Spotify, we're on Podbean, anywhere really you can get major podcasts. Also, let us know What gods would you like to hear us talk about? Maybe what mythology you would like to see it, or maybe future NerdLore episodes. Let us know in the comments. This has been Shiny Shoes.
This has been Crashstarling.
It's been your boy, Skandle, baby.
Signing off.
Peace.